So take me back to last night. Right
Yes.
before everything happened, what were you all doing? Where were you all at?
So earlier in the day, we had a alumni picnic, which is classes from '05 up to like 20, I think. And we all kind of agreed at the picnic, let's all go to Hush tonight, for carry on the party. Well, okay, sounds good. So we get there around close to 10 o'clock. I'm waiting on one more friend to get there. And when he gets there, we decide to go hop in line. And the line's backed up almost to like the intersection. So we're in line for maybe like 5 minutes. And then just shots. Come to find out it was, Glock handguns with switches on them. Come to find out. And as soon as I heard the shots, I booked it. I ran. And I've been in situations before where you hear gunshots and you run, but I've never been in one where you hear them and actually get hit by one. Because I was running, and next thing I know, I just couldn't feel my leg, and I fall. And it didn't even dawn on me that I had gotten shot. So I got up and tried to keep running and realized I couldn't put pressure on my leg. But I had to get out of there, so I was hopping on one leg across the intersection. That's when I heard my name being called. And it was my friend Jamarlin. He's like, Gabe, you good, man? You okay? I was like, no, man, I got shot. I'm shot. He's like, all right, man. He's like, come here. He put my arm around his neck and kind of helped me make my way across the street and sat me down in a bench in front of a diner. And that's when the lady from inside came out and gave me a rag, and we flagged down an officer. And he came over there, checked out my injuries, and decided he had to go help some more severe injuries. So in the meantime, Jamarlin was pulling his car around. So he pulls his car around, throws me in his car. I'm bleeding all over his car. There's a lot of blood everywhere. I didn't even know where I was bleeding from. There was so much blood. And we get to UAB, and thankfully I'm one of the first ones there. So within 30 seconds of arriving, I'm on the table, fully undressed, and they're working on me. So they were on their P's and Q's that night.
You said you had to get out of there. Tell me about those moments. Was it almost like a moment of, I have to survive?
Yes. Oh yeah. By far. When I went down, when I got back up, I kind of looked back, and all I saw were bodies on the ground and the smoke from the guns. It was literally something out of a horror movie. Just bodies laying out everywhere with smoke covering them. There's shoes laying out. There's different things. It's just a mess. Phones. It was literally survival instinct kicked in. Fight or flight.
Take me back to those moments where you were saying that your friends, you had kind of mentioned you couldn't believe that maybe your friends stuck around or came back to get you. What are you thinking about that interaction today?
That still is beyond me. Because I've had friends for years disappear in the face of, terror. And then one of my friends I haven't seen since high school just came back for me, made sure I was okay. He actually got grazed on his arm. So he was injured too, but I didn't even know that until later on. So he put aside his own injury to make sure I was okay. And the whole time on the way to the hospital, he's like, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay, you're going to make it, you'll be fine. And all I remember is my mouth just going extremely dry. I was losing so much blood and fluids, and if it wasn't for him, if I had to wait for an ambulance, it would have taken way too long, I feel like. The amount of injuries and the deceased out there, it had been a while before an ambulance got to me.
You all were just there enjoying a popular entertainment district in Birmingham. Have you been before?
I've been to 5 Points before, but not to that particular lounge, no.
Mm-hmm. So now, you've been to 5 Points South before, but now this happens. Did you ever think that this would happen in that area? Not
in 5 Points. Because whenever I go there, I see a lot of, patrolling officers. It's very lively on the weekends. It seems like it's a fun entertainment district. You got bars, you got restaurants. Popular one, Insomnia Cookies, is right there. And you always see it out there. I even saw the mayor walking around one day out there. So you wouldn't expect that right there at all.
will you go back?
It'll take some time if I were to. Right now, I'm in the mindset of I just want to stay out of downtown for a while. But I do go downtown frequent to visit Uptown, Topgolf, and different areas like that. But now it's just kind of like it's PTSD from us. I'm gonna stay out of that area for a while until I'm able to move past this.
How does it feel to be saying that about maybe, an area where you've grown up not too far from, probably consider it a big part of your life, maybe a hometown.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to maybe feel about Birmingham like that now?
It's like every city, there's the good areas, there's the bad areas. And now it's almost like the good areas are transitioning into the bad areas. And I've been going downtown for, years for, different reasons, War of Wheels, the BJCC, different concerts, and in those areas you feel like it's safe. You got officers around, a lot of people, a lot of cameras, a lot of security. And at that point, it's just kind of like, does that even matter at this point anymore? I mean, people are willing to do whatever they want to do, regardless of who's there.
Before the shooting, did you have any inkling that something wasn't right?
I didn't, actually. It was, everyone was, laughing, hanging out, talking to each other, catching up. It's like a fun, positive mood, just, you can hear the music playing. Everyone's eager to get inside, have fun, start their night, and just completely out of nowhere, just over 100 rounds out of nowhere. There's no inclination that anything is about to happen.
Can you remember what that sounded like?
If you ever go to the fireworks stand and buy those fireworks you just throw in the street, things like those strips, those red strips, about just like that, but a little bit louder, echoing off the buildings nearby too. It was loud.
Most people don't maybe want to talk after something like this happens to them. Why do you feel it's important to share your story?
I have lost a few good friends to gun violence. And I couldn't put myself in their shoes, but now knowing, how close I came. I mean, the bullet missed my main artery by millimeters, according to my doctor. Knowing how close I came to winding up like them it's got to stop. And I wanted to get my story out there. I want to get the message out there that, I'm only 24 years old. Some people out there were younger than me or older than me. I mean, we can't even live, full lives anymore. We don't go out and have a good time and enjoy ourselves, hang out with friends, family, and you can't even do that without worrying about if you're going to make it home that night. So I want people to solve their differences in other ways besides violence, because not only are you ending someone's life, you're throwing your own life away too. And people don't realize the consequences of their actions until it's too late. You get so caught up in the moment, you don't think about things. And if people just take the extra 10 seconds to take a step back and think, like, is this really a good idea? Like, what's going to happen when I decide to pull this trigger? I think that in itself would, I feel like, solve a lot of differences.
Have you learned anything, and I don't mean, maybe not going back down to downtown. I mean, learned anything, like, do you think any differently today? Do you see yourself shifting a thought process maybe? Has this changed you in a way?
I think I'm definitely way more careful about where I want to put myself, who I'm around, what situations I put myself in. I don't usually want to go places without somebody I know with me, for reasons like this exactly. If I was by myself and I knew nobody out there, this could have went a whole different way. So I'm definitely very, very more careful now.
Do you have a message that you want to share?
Yes, I definitely want this to stop, guys. It's bad. I mean, I'm 24 years old, almost lost my life. There are people out there probably younger than me that lost their life. I mean, parents are having to bury their children. They didn't make it home last night. They thought they're going out for a fun reunion, and then they don't leave the hospital, or they don't leave the sidewalk. It has to stop, guys. It's too far. I've lost too many people to it. I know a lot of people out there have lost a lot of people to it. It's got to end at some point. Like, at what point is it too much?
So, overnight you were in the hospital. Tell me about, how long were you there today? Did you have surgery?
So, thankfully, there was no surgery. It was a clean entrance exit wound. There was no artery damage, no blood vessel damage, no bone damage. I was there for about 8 to 9 hours. They did 2 CT scans, about 2 x-rays, some labs, and 2 angiograms. And I will never forget when I was first put on that table, when I first got there. There's 2 other people beside me on adjacent tables, and they looked like in way worse shape than I was. And hearing that some people didn't make it out the hospital that night, and then my dad was saying the doctors and nurses were coming into the lobby and telling families that, hey, we're sorry, but your son or daughter didn't make it. And thinking back, that could have been those people I looked at who were fighting for their life. And then leaving that room, every corner you turn, there's just another stretcher being rolled in, somebody else with a gunshot wound. It didn't end. Even when I got to my room, I'm sharing a room for one person with 5 other people. And I was right in the middle, so I can see into the hallway, and there's just gurneys, stretchers just coming by constantly. But UAB had protocols in place for this. You can tell. They were very, very thorough. Didn't leave anybody out. Did what had to be done. Make sure everybody was stable. And I know it was, from what I've been told, pretty slow in the lobby. But every single doctor, nurse, surgeon back there was doing everything they could to make sure nobody passed away, that there was no loss of life. And they were bringing in people from other floors, other units to come help out down there. So I think my friend who saved me and UAB themselves, that's the best trauma unit around, I feel like. I'm grateful I was so close to there.
So you got hit with a bullet in your left leg?
Yeah, so it entered through my left buttocks and it came out my left inner thigh. So it's straight through. Somehow there was no damage to anything. But it's straight through.
Just at a high school reunion.
Yeah. There to have a good time. Get the night started. Can't even do that.
Are you on bed rest for a few days? What does recovery look like?
So they sent me home with some pain medication, but I haven't found it to be very helpful. I don't really feel a difference. So I am predominantly in bed. I do have to get up and walk around a little bit just to make sure it doesn't, stiffen up on me and it hurts some more. But they told me, about a week I can start moving around again and be kind of mobile, but still be really sore. So about a week I should be able to, get back up and maybe be 60-70%. And have a follow-up appointment in 1 to 2 weeks with the trauma team at UAB. So hopefully that goes good. They're gonna inspect the wounds and go from there.
Do you live here? Live with your parents?
I do, with my dad.
Wow. Does it feel good to be surrounded by family?
Oh yeah. The whole time I was in the hospital, I was begging them, like, please let my dad back here. Because I couldn't even, all I told him was, Dad, I got shot. He didn't even know if I was okay, what condition I was in. Also, Dad, I got shot. I'm on my way to UAB. And I had to hang up the phone. And I was like, guys, please, let my dad know. So having family around definitely eases your mind. It's comforting, for sure.
What, did I miss anything? Did you have anything you think would be good?
Okay.
Is there anything else that I didn't ask or mention that you really wanted to get across?
I'm trying to think. All the officers down there did a great job too. Their response time was great. Within 10 minutes, the whole street was flooded with police cars and ambulances and fire trucks. So their response time was very well. So
does anything need to change? Were there too many people standing outside on that sidewalk?
There were from what I've heard in the past. This is my first time there. The line used to curve up the stairwell beside Hush, and now it was going all the way down the sidewalk. I feel like, no one can plan for a situation like this. No one goes to work one day and says, hey, there might be a drive-by today, but it definitely made it easier. And I think being so exposed out in the open where crime is, almost usual around here, I think having some kind of an enclosure or something in place to not be as exposed while you're just standing there as a sitting duck, I think that would be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.